Welcome to Across the Whoniverse, a Doctor Who marathon podcast. I'm your friendly neighborhood Time Lord, Chels.
And I'm your Muppet of a Time Lord, Paige.
And y'all, we've kidnapped two of our favorite companions again. We had to have a girls' night. This is all girls, gays, and theys. Merrilee, Shannon, welcome to the Tardis. What kind of Time Lord are y'all? Shannon, last time you said you were a witch. Are you still a witchy Time Lord?
Okay, so this witch has gotten much sillier since we last spoke. So I don't know. So I am a silly witch, Time Lord. Can we just like stack it all together?
Heck yeah, we can. We can do whatever we want.
I love that.
Merrilee, what kind of Time Lord are you today?
I'm just a silly little guy. I don't know if you'd count as a Time Lord, but I'm just if you picture like an animal walking along the side of the street on the opposite side of the road as you, that's me over there. I'm just a silly little guy.
And aren't we all just silly little guys at heart, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. So y'all, I always ask more silly Billy questions at the beginning of this, but to stay on theme with this episode where we have so many companions, we see Rose, Jack, and Mickey working as a team with the Doctor this episode. Here's your homework. If you could team up with any three companions for an adventure, who would they be and what would your little adventure be? What you doing? Shannon is ready. Shannon does her homework.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
You're ready.
Absolutely. I'm so curious.
Okay. All right. So, I took Yasmin from the Judy Foster, Wilfred Mott.
I believe you mean Jodie
also...
Whittaker, although Jodie Foster should be on Doctor
Jodie
Who.
Whittaker. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
No. Now I want Jodie Foster in like Freaky Friday mode to be on Doctor Who. Thank you.
Please.
It is the hair.
I take it back. That's the kind of time wizard I am. That's the kind of Time Lord I am. Anyway. Okay. All right. Wilfred Mott and then Clara Oswald. Okay. Okay. So I liked this mix, bringing them all together on an adventure because I felt like it was a really well balanced cast. And I do try to be as inclusive as possible, and so I do feel like all of these characters, no matter what kind of a situation we would go on, we would always have them bickering amongst each other.
Perfect.
I think they would all hate each other in a way that they would definitely see me as the leader so that we could really pull whatever hijink we got into out.
And it'd be that kind of hate where like they love to give shit to each other, but if somebody outside of that messed with them, they would like throw hands.
Dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else have their team?
Yeah, my team was not well considered, like Shannon, who really put in the work and effort here. I just thought that I really think that Donna and Amy Pond would work really well together and like a ginger team up. And obviously, if Amy is there, also Rory is there, who's one of my favorite companions anyway. And I think that would be a really fun mix of energies.
I think the Doctor dies in that scenario because they all are going to kill him at any point.
Good. I love this.
Okay. Mine's really easy because I'm just bringing all my favorite gals to brunch. I am going to bring Yaz, of course. I'm going to bring Martha, but also give Martha a gun because I feel like she deserves one. She should at least be able to slap the 10th Doctor a few times. And then, of course, I want Bill there because she's going to make everybody gay, and it's great. She's going to help Yaz through the coming out journey. It's going to be wonderful. And also, maybe we get some free chips out of it. I'm really excited for this.
I love this for you.
I know. I just want to go to brunch.
That's what I was going to say. What restaurant would you guys go to? I don't know if you guys could decide.
Shannon, where's that place we went to brunch?
What time? Like we went to brunch once.
I'm like trying to think of all the places we've been to brunch, and it's been so many places. The one on C Street.
Is it Van Gogh's?
Van Gogh's. I think it is Van Gogh's she's talking about.
I think it is Van Gogh's because you took a really cute
it.
picture of me outside of the restaurant.
You've also been with me to Van Gogh's.
Okay. Listeners, one time, it was either on my birthday or the day after my birthday. Basically, 2 days in a row, I went to Van Gogh's with Paige and then another friend of ours, Liz. And you know what? Great time. Ordered different things each time. I love Van Gogh's. Very important to the Doctor Who universe.
Yes.
Everything on C Street is a gym.
What more could you want?
I would like to know Paige's team because it's going to be great no matter what. There's no wrong
Okay.
answers.
There are no wrong answers.
I could think of a wrong answer, actually.
Oh,
Adam and Mickey don't count.
okay. I was gonna say that'd be the wrong answer.
Yeah. All right.
That would
Well,
be the wrong
rude.
answer. So my companions would be obviously River Song because she's my wife.
That's your wife, of course.
We're legally married.
Mhm.
Yaz, of course.
Of course, because you
Gotta
need a
bring
third.
more gay in there.
Mhm.
And then Belinda, because my girl Belinda did not get the ending she deserved.
Deserve better. Maybe deserves a date with River and Yaz and you.
Yes,
Mhm.
we need to see her in that club. So that would be my adventure, is that scene that we missed of them in the club.
And
Incredible.
if people don't know, like, I guess spoilers for 15 seasons ahead of
Yeah.
time, there's released promo photos of the 15th Doctor and Belinda in the club partying, dancing their asses off. And that
Yes.
never happened in the series because they reshot so much of it and is a hot mess. Season 15 is going to be wild. That might be our drinking season.
I have a
Mhm.
follow-up question for Paige.
Yes.
If you could put a soundtrack to whatever they were hearing in the club, what would it be?
Oh, that's very important.
This is so
I
difficult.
mean, it is really hard. My mind immediately goes to like 90s, early 2000s, like
Like
club
Enya?
classics.
Like Enya.
That might be our brunch
There's
music as
yeah.
well.
There's like a lot of Usher in there. There's like, you know.
Oh, that's a totally different vibe. Oh, I love that.
Mhm. Oh yeah. We're getting down in there.
I feel like
Yeah.
because I've been making my Bridgerton playlist for the gay season coming soon, I am just all like Haley Kiyoko, Chapel Roan. We're just gonna go
Right.
hard on all the queer gals.
Mhm.
Obviously Tegan and Sarah, but like specific albums. They're more recent ones.
Mm-hmm.
I love that we are so far astray. This is what happens when you're in the TARDIS. Sometimes you just take little pit stops here and there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's for the details.
The TARDIS takes us where we need to go.
Yes, where we need to go.
Exactly. And we need to go to brunch and the club.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, before we get too far, Shannon, where can people find you on social media and all the beautiful projects you do? Because you make so much cool stuff.
Thank you. So you can always find all the stuff I do. I'm across all platforms at Shannon K, and that's ShannonCay. You can also find me at my website, and that's shannonkcreative.com.
We love that, everyone. Go check it out. Merrilee, tell everyone about your podcast and your social medias where they can find all the cool shit you do.
Yeah, well, I happen to be one of the 3 co-hosts of the Fear Coded podcast, where we take a single piece of media for like anything, TV shows, movies, books, anything within the horror genre, and we take a queer reading of that media. It's a really good time. I love doing it, and we release episodes pretty much every Monday. We've slowed the tempo down, but at least 3 times a month. On a Monday, there will be a cool queer episode in your ears. And you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky at Fear Coded Pod.
And if you want to hear their scariest episode, subscribe to the Patreon where they talk about the scariest thing Merrilee's ever watched, and that is the Christmas film Elf.
Yeah, no, I have really bad secondhand embarrassment. And so watching that movie is physically painful for me. So I wouldn't watch it until they paid me money to do it. So
And they literally paid you money.
and they literally paid me money to do it. So I was happy to complete my end of the contract. I'm also happy to never have to watch it ever again. So really that's a treat for me. Anytime anybody wants to, it's like I've already have the proof of all of my opinions right there for you.
And don't worry, your elf little pen is in the mail because that's what Alamo accidentally sent me.
Why would you do that to me?
Because I'm evil. I'm fear coded.
Yeah, or you could, instead of doing that, you could listen to a really excellent episode with Chels when we talked about whatever happened to Baby Jane last year for Pride. It was a really good time.
You mean Baby J No?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Or as I've been calling it, Baby Jane Don't, because I have to combine all of my shows in my brain. But y'all, let's get back to the Hooniverse because we're going way back in time to 2006 is where the Tardis lands, about 6 months after the events of Aliens of London / World War III, which everyone go listen to that episode with Shannon. It was wonderful. It was so much fun. This one, Series 1, Episode 11, Boomtown. Writer, Russell T. Davies. Director, Joe Aaron. Originally aired on the 4th of June 2005, it features the Ninth Doctor Rose Tyler, Captain Jack Harkness, Mickey Smith, Margaret Blaine, aka Blongfell Foch Passamir de Slitheen. I will struggle with every single name. And yes, this is set in September 2006 in Cardiff. And here's the TARDIS Wiki synopsis of this episode. The Ninth Doctor and his companions, Rose Tyler and Jack Harkness, travel to modern-day Cardiff and meet up with Rose's boyfriend, Mickey. There they discover their enemy. Blonfell Foch Passamir de Slitheen is very much alive without an easy escape route from Earth and is willing to rip apart the planet to ensure her freedom. And you know what? I support women's rights and wrongs. Good for her. So, y'all, what were your overall impressions? Do you remember the first time you watched this episode? Shannon's a champion, and it's probably recently because she jumped on the Doctor Who train when there was a hot gay lady at the helm.
Which is so real and valid, and I love that for you.
That is so real. It's like we see something like, hot lady, I'm in. Turns out to be queer, hell yeah.
So when I watched this for the first time, which was earlier today. Now I watched it several times since then. Okay, I do very thorough research. Okay, but
42 minutes. You can watch it a couple times a day.
that's well, and I got it from my public library. Always got to rent it through a hoopla. So
Mhm.
anyway,
We
plug
love
my
that.
local libraries. Anyway, so ups and downs.
Yeah.
A lot of emotion coming through here. And like the reason that I was like ups and downs is just because like this was set 20 years ago, right? And so a lot of things that like generally were accepted by our society 20 years ago,
Mhm.
super not cool now.
Yeah.
Definitely not. And so it was really wild because so much of the writing like gets weirdly progressive, and then like something happens that like everything gets like brought back to this like one dilemma. Um so I guess like my overall like impression was like what a great especially like now knowing the post, like what a great way to tell a moral dilemma and have a solid filler episode, frankly.
Exactly. We love just those world building episodes where you can just hang out with the crew because I just like did not remember so much of this episode, even though I rewatched it like a year or so ago. I'm like, wait, not that much actually happens. They're kind of just stuck there for a day and have like a moral dilemma about the death penalty, which was a pretty big conversation in 2006 and even now. Merrilee, what do you think? Do you remember the first time you watched this, or were you like, damn, this is what happened?
No, I remember this episode pretty distinctly, which I would have surprised me if you told me that in 2005. Though I have to say, if you told 2005 me a lot of stuff, I would be very surprised how things turned out.
Yeah, video chats. Who knew?
Who knew? Yeah, so I watched the episode and I remember when it first aired thinking, the fucking Slitheen again, because I did not enjoy the
Aliens of London, World War
yeah.
III.
I don't think fart jokes are very funny. I thought it was like really fat phobic, and I again don't like fart jokes. So it was a rough couple episodes for me. And so then when the Slitheen pops back up again, I was disappointed. I was like, oh, I thought we were done with those fuckers. But then the strangest thing happened to me was that this episode lived in my mind for years and years and years. And I remember pretty much everything about it. And well, besides the Mickey stuff, because that was totally garbage, like fart in the wind. But the doctor and Margaret, the scene where the episode suddenly becomes My Dinner with Andre, it was I remember every part of that part of the episode.
I love that. I think that's what like sparked me to put you on this episode. And then I'm like, well, I gotta have Shannon back to complete this arc of the Slitheen and the farts, of course. Paige, what are your memories of this? Are they also a fart in the wind?
They might be, because I didn't remember this episode pretty much at all. And it surprised me by how much I enjoyed it. Again, like a lot of just like hanging out with these characters that we enjoy, but I'm totally fine with that. And I do enjoy those moments where it got like surprisingly profound in between the fart jokes.
Between the fart jokes, which were not as bad as the
Oh, no.
two-parter.
Yeah,
No,
no, they
not
really
as-
For
toned
the
it down.
record, there was not a single fart joke. She
There
had
is one,
indigestion,
There is
but-
one at the beginning where they make all those like diarrhea noises in the bathroom.
Oh, I guess, yeah, she was technically in the bathroom. Okay, all right.
There are
There's
some
that
sound
one.
effects.
The rest of them were rumbles in the stomach because she hadn't had lunch yet.
Technically, that's not a fart, it's a shart because it did sound liquidy. Not
It
to,
was
you
incredibly
know.
liquidy and gross, yeah.
Shannon is our shart expert.
I just potty trained my child, so I know all about this.
And that's why you're here, Shannon. We need an
Thank you.
expert in the field.
Thank you.
And this is what people are listening to this podcast for.
Mm-hmm.
For the sharts. God damn. I'm fine. But we'll get through this plot because y'all, I really like how this was filmed, especially the opening shot. Shannon, ever since we had you on the podcast, I'm like really paying attention to some of the shot composition because the way they open it and it's just like you're peering into the office like through the
Mhm.
doors and you don't exactly see who this scientist is talking to, but it's just like this dude freaking out. And it's like, oh, this unknown project, it's unsafe, could result in the death of millions. And he's just like begging the person at the desk to stop it. But then we're like, we don't see her. But it's a familiar voice of Margaret Blaine, seemingly agreeing with the scientist, saying, oh, no other choice. We'll just stop it. It's fine. And then we hear the rumbling of her stomach as we cut to her saying she'll stop the project today because what do you take me for? Some kind of maniac? And I do love that the scientist dude is a little surprised. And she's like, oh, yes, you only shared your results with me, though. Right. I'm not going to do anything evil if you say yes. This poor man, he's spiraling with relief. He turns his back, which never turn your back. Never turn your back. And then he just starts monologuing. And this is why men need to stop talking and start listening. Because he's like going on and on and on about how somebody wanted this project to go wrong. It's like set up to fail. We're going to wipe the city off the map. But thank goodness they have her, their esteemed leader. And behind him, we see a little glowy light. We hear an unzip. And we know it's that little forehead. She's going to come bursting out. And she surprises him in her little true alien form before killing him. And you know what? We shouldn't victim blame. But I feel like this guy made a lot of rookie mistakes in a horror film. Merrilee?
Yeah, no, he really did. Especially, you guys said something excellent in your Aliens of London episode where you talked about how the doctor was constantly monologuing. And you're like, sometimes you need to have like an inside monologue. And this really is what that guy needed in this moment because he was just talking and be like, there's no way like this was going to work. I was like, man, this is an inside monologue moment.
There's a reason why I have the password journal sticker in my phone because some people need to have their inside thoughts. Not everything needs to be on the outside.
Well, the thing is, guys, is like this guy obviously has worked for the public for his whole life because if he had ever worked a corporate job, he'd know that.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
I will say that he does get some horror movie points back because as it turns out, he was lying when he said he hadn't revealed this information to anybody else. He, in fact, did leave a paper trail. He told a bunch of people about his findings, and which absolutely comes back to bite Margaret in like a couple of scenes. And I thought I really enjoyed that because that is exactly what you need to do.
See, he didn't tell anybody, but he may have uploaded some documents online that we're going to hear about later. Whoopsies. But we smashed the credits, which I always watch through the credits. If you're skipping the credits, I will judge you. Everyone knows this. Bring back opening credit sequences. But then we cut to Mickey exiting a little train to Cardiff and knocking on the Tardis door. Jack opens the door asking who the hell he is and tells him they're not buying what he's selling. And isn't it great that we get both creeps of the set just showing up, meeting right off the top? Two horrible men. Of course. It's awful. But Mickey brushes right past him and is like warmly greeted by the Doctor and Rose. And they're hanging out at the Cardiff Rift, which is previously mentioned in The Unquiet Dead. Everyone go check that out because Merrilee was the guest for that. Great episode, by the way.
Gavin was also there, and we have to like shout out Gavin. He was so great.
Always. Gavin is wonderful. My favorite. The TARDIS, it's on this Cardiff Rift. Cardiff Rift is a horrible phrase for me to have to say a bunch of times, by the way.
That really is horrible.
I
Yeah.
know.
I
Why would
called
they do
it
that?
the energy scar.
Energy scar is a phrase.
Well, that's they described it as an energy scar at one point, and I was like, I like that better than the riff or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. But basically, this little energy scar, it has like radiation leakage, and they're going to use it to recharge the TARDIS, which is a plot point that we only return to in the Russell T Davies era. And they should just take one day to refuel. And y'all, it's about to get silly because the Doctor and Jack are having some flirty banter while Mickey and Rose, they kind of catch up. He gives her her passport just in case she needs it if they like travel around like the globe. Okay, Rose. And Mickey is obviously jealous of Captain Jack hanging with Rose and calls him cheesy, but Jack is not up on the 21st century slang, and the Doctor is just offended he's not considered handsome. And so, gals, real life crimes aside, these are just the characters in the show because honestly, it would be too easy. Bachelor Nation time. Which of these three men is getting your rose? And here's the thing, I did not realize what I typed until after I typed it.
Getting your rose?
Getting your rose.
Can Rose get my rose?
I mean, always, that's the default. But which of these three men would you take on a date?
So I definitely am gonna, everything aside, but like narrowing in on the fact that Jack is a known bi king.
That's true.
Mhm.
And so I do think that like if I were gonna give my television rose to somebody, and as we all know, television reality isn't real reality, but you pick the best person for the show,
Mm-hmm.
I would say Jack.
Mm.
I think
For
you're going to
me.
have a great night with Jack.
I don't know, I
He
think it'd
has
be
so
fun
much
energy.
experience.
Mhm.
He's been with literally everyone in the universe.
I believe they
know?
call it omnisexual. We had to make up words
Yeah.
for it.
I mean, and for reality TV, that's par for the
gold.
course.
Mm.
All right, this is tough. Who's getting your rose?
I think I would also fall for the Captain Jack thing because he's so charismatic, and if anyone flirts, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't go for it if anyone flirts with me, but in this situation,
Merrilee. Who's getting your rose?
Easy answer. That's the Doctor baby.
I mean,
Easy answer.
same. The Doctor
Yeah.
looks like a butch lesbian. That's the uniform right
Exactly.
there.
Listen,
Doc
he's more
Martens in
work,
a
but he's worth
leather
it.
jacket.
I mean,
Sorry, Mickey. But you know what? They have to recharge. It's going to take a day. So the gang goes out for Girls' Day, literally going to brunch, which is our dream right now.
Whoa, hold on. We can't skip past the fact that Jack slaps Mickey.
I mean, they both probably deserve it.
I just thought that scene was so jarring. Like, why did he slap him?
Because this show is unwell. Truly unwell in so many ways. Ugh.
Okay, all right. No answers. I'm so sorry.
We have no answers for poor behavior and poor scenes that treat Mickey like shit. Ugh, it's awful. But don't worry, the doctor explains to Ricky how the Tardis chameleon circuit broke when he landed in the 1960s, and he likes how it looks now, so he's not gonna fix it. Which, that's real.
Yeah. There's nothing more permanent than a temporary solution that works.
Exactly. And that like harkens back to the first doctor landed there. We're gonna disguise, and then you know what? Plot gets confusing down the line. But y'all, this is the fun part. We cut to Margaret Blaine. She's explaining at a press conference how this nuclear power plant. Why did I set this up for myself? She's explaining at a press conference how the nuclear power plant they've built will create jobs for all. Nothing bad's ever going to happen. And the press snaps a picture of her, and I love that she just shouts, "No pictures. Take a picture of the project, not me." She's not going to center herself in this. And she promises no harm will come to her citizens while she's walking this earth. And this reporter, Kathy Salt, pulls her aside and is just straight up interrogating her about this cursed project and all the deaths of like the engineers and scientists, some of whom like Margaret probably killed herself because there's like it was raining. My car couldn't see, low visibility. I'm like, I gotta give her credit. She has a response for every death and bad thing. And then she reveals the scientist we saw killed in the opening leaked some of the private concerns online. So, Merrilee, you're right. He did one thing right. And so Margaret's like, let's get a word in private, just us girls. And as they leave, Margaret just detours to the bathroom. And this is where we hear some of the disgusting poop and fart noises because Russell's fat phobia never quits. And then, like, they're separated. Margaret's in the stall and she unzips her body while conversing with this reporter. And the reporter just starts, like, talking about her life and stuff after she's like, oh, I gotta report all this information. And as Margaret's unzipping, gonna kill her, Kathy, she just starts talking about her wedding, her pregnancy. She's 3 months along, need this job for money. And then, like, we are on this alien creature just on its face. And it is like a full prosthetic thing. But we see this weird creature just have a change of heart in the moment. This is why I love creatures and real, tangible things you can film. Because even though it's like a mask, they just like fully are drawn in. And you see that this alien is so sad because she starts talking about her dead husband and brothers and how she's all alone now. And Margaret tells her just run along, they'll catch up later. And I like that this is kind of the start of her redemption and this the beautiful humanity of it all. Even though it started off with like poop noises, it ends on a beautiful note.
That's why I love this show, because we can go from like literal, like ridiculous fart noises, sound effects to
Wait,
like,
Shannon will remind us it's a shart.
oh yeah, so sorry, so sorry. And then to this beautiful, like kind of nuanced scene where we see some humanity and the person that's supposed to be the villain. I just love that.
Same. It's like
Yeah.
kind of the start of this beautiful small episode. And then eventually we cut back to the TARDIS gang at lunch and they're just telling stories, yapping about. And the doctor just looks over and spots Margaret on the cover of the newspaper. And he's just like, I was having such a nice day, and shows Rose. They quickly boot scoot to City Hall where Jack tries to give everyone orders immediately. And then I do like that the doctor just reminds him who's actually in charge. And Jack's like, so what are we gonna do? And the doctor's like, great plan, let's all do this. And I do like that they go full Power Rangers, like syncing up their like speed dial on some Nokia phones or something. Take me back to Nokia phone days. Because that was so silly and I loved it.
So that's like the kind of stuff that I really love and appreciate from Doctor Who is like it can go from like that emotion to like just slapstick.
We
Just
went from
absolutely bonkers.
sharts to deep lonely humanity to Power Ranger phones is what I'm calling this. It's so silly. I love it.
So
That's
like
the range.
when
She
I was
does have the
like
range.
thinking about how like this was kind of set up, they it's like there's so many themes that like we can relate back to like in our daily life like now because like they're putting nuclear power plants by like poor residential areas. Um, they are giving like reporters like bull malarkey answers so we can keep this PG malarkey answers to the press. But then there's always that redemption arc of like, but woman to woman, we can always get through it. And like that's kind of how you could tell like it was written by a man, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so but yeah, but then it just goes straight back to wackiness and
Don't worry.
Scooby-Doo times.
I mean, I do have a literal queue of Scooby-Doo coming up soon is the best part.
I just think that it's really fun that to save the day in this case, they're planning on kidnapping a politician, which you would never get away with today. Um, which I think is great. Very fun. Time difference, little treat. Though I do think the part of the place that they're going to construct the power plant isn't necessarily like a neighborhood. They're gonna destroy Cardiff Castle, the historical location, Cardiff Castle, which I think is so funny that everybody was just like, yeah, sure, get rid of the historical castle that we have all of our tourists
I mean,
for
she
a
says it
power
herself. They
plant.
don't care about the Welsh. They don't care. But y'all, we do get this great Doctor Who gag where the doctor tells like her secretary, like just tells to tell Miss Blaine the doctor's here to see her. And I love that he just goes in there and it is just the sound effect of her dropping a teacup. And the guy, he comes back out just frazzled and he's like, maybe we should make an appointment for next week. And then the guys have this exchange. The doctor's like, she's climbing out of the window, isn't she? And he's like, yeah, she is. And so this is our cue for Scooby-Doo, The Great Chase, because bless that secretary for trying to slow down the doctor. It didn't really work. They all just Scooby-Doo around to all the exits trying to catch Margaret. Of course, they have Mickey run with toilet paper stuck to his foot because he is the joke, of course. They do not treat this character well. Like, Mickey is such a poorly written character in this first series. Luckily, the character gets better. But y'all, this is another moment that made me cackle. We catch up with Margaret Blaine running away, and she's popping off her earrings like I would when I want to fight somebody. And she just turns out they're little teleport things, and she goes to teleport away, but the doctor's one step ahead and uses the sonic screwdriver to like mess with her teleport and brings her right back to him. It is a full Wile E. Coyote gag with the Roadrunner because every time she teleports, she just runs back to the doctor because he's messing with her. And this does lead to another great exchange. We have so many this episode. Margaret's like, this is persecution. Why can't you leave me alone? What did I ever do to you? And the doctor's like, you tried to kill me and destroy this entire planet. And Margaret's like, apart from that, you know what? I support her. I'm sorry. I love a bad
Women's
bitch.
wrongs.
Women's wrongs. She was creating jobs for the community. What else do you want from her? I do like that it's just a full walk of shame back to City Hall, and the doctor's trying to question why she's building a nuclear power plant on top of the Cardiff Rift. And Jack just shares too much information. This is where he needs his little password journal because he's like explaining if the nuclear station were to go into meltdown, the entire planet would just go boom because it's on top of the rift. And Rose is like, why would nobody in London check this? And Margaret's like, nobody in London cares about Cardiff. And that they could fall into the sea and that they wouldn't notice anything. And then she's like, damn, I've gone native. And she just sounds like a full Welshman because she's just making fun of London at this point. Again, she's getting humanity because she's identifying with the place she's lived in. And then we get horrible parts of Mickey being so dismissive of her, like talking to her like in the room as if she's not there. And as she's trying to defend herself, he's just calling her a thing. And I did write this. I personally would not antagonize the alien with power, but that's just me. If she can build a nuclear power plant in her free time, I probably wouldn't threaten her or treat her poorly to her face. Leave that in the group chat. Paige would fight an alien, though. She would talk shit to her face.
I would.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
But no, I do actually feel some kind of way about just him calling her a thing. Like won't
Mm-hmm.
even like by the gender that she's identifying as. I felt some kind of way about this. Nikki is on my shit list this episode. Right
Yeah, I
next to the
didn't.
charts.
God. Yeah, I didn't love that. She's a being that's clearly intelligent and communicating with you, and you know that she prefers, like, she uses certain set of pronouns. The dehumanizing of it all, I don't love that.
I know, and it just builds towards our whole death penalty thing here because y'all, I love that the doctor pretty quickly figures out what's going on because he rips this nuclear model off the table that she's built, flips it over, and then just like reveals that once it explodes, there's a hidden extrapolator that would like create a little bubble for her and help her ride the energy out like a surfboard from Earth once like the nuclear meltdown happens and everything's destroyed. I mean, it's very Lilo and Stitch in some ways, just surfing
Hmm.
on out into space, which again, good for her.
I kind of think the idea of a dimensional surfboard, I kind of think that's a funny idea.
I
Hmm.
think it's
I know
great.
that it's silly, but I don't know. The thought of her in the skin suit, like riding into space for me, like I don't know. There was something that was
I think
really
she's
funny to
having a
me
good
about the idea of
time.
that, you know? And I feel like she would stay in the skin suit at this point.
I
Hmm.
mean, she's having a nice time. That's why I think it's very Lilo and Stitch. It's like space surfing. Good
Yeah.
for her. Yes, you're blowing up a planet, but whoopsie.
Can I make my really dumb complaint? Because
Always.
the thing about this that's always really confused me is, why did she leave this? I mean, obviously it gets revealed at the end of the episode with her actual major plot. But watching the episode originally, and then also when I watched a couple times in preparation for this, I always had a moment of like, okay, but like, why is that a part of the model? Is it like doing something to allow people to like accept that this is happening and want it to happen, and like
Oh,
some
don't
sort of like,
worry. I got
so,
answers for you
oh,
later
thank
on.
God.
Look at
Perfect.
me. Don't worry. I just understood it this watch as I'm taking notes.
Incredible. Thank God. Because it always confused me that I was part of the model, and like wasn't doing anything for that. It was like, oh, it's just a surfboard. Okay. Could you not like have that someplace else? No, part of the model? Got it.
I mean, just the little surfboard. We're gonna put this thing with immense power and potential onto a desk and just let it be there as a model for a nuclear plant, like a little Lego playland. It's fine.
Don't worry
But
about it.
this is the part that is just threading the whole bad wolf of it all this season. The doctor notices the name of the nuclear plant is, sorry, y'all, they did not offer Welsh elective at my college, so here we go. Uh, Blythe Droog, which is Welsh for bad wolf. And they're just like being like, why'd you pick that name? We've heard that everywhere. It's following us around wherever we go, me and Rose. And Margaret's like, I don't know. I just picked that at random. It just came to my head. It was fresh off the dome.
Every time
And
we get one of those little bad wolf hints in each of these series 1 episodes, I'm that Leo DiCaprio meme where he's like pointing at the TV.
exactly. I like that the doctor and Rose have a full moment of it and then just shrugs it off. Must be a
Oh,
coincidence.
yeah, I've
Sure,
never heard that
doctor.
before.
Never.
Never.
And I like that the doctor's solution to this is let's just take Margaret back to her home planet and we're going to save everyone from this explosions. But Margaret explains that the family of Slitheen was tried and found guilty while they were away, and the planet has the death penalty, so really can't go back home or I'll be executed like immediately. And the doctor's like, not my problem. I don't know. I think the doctor was a little cold on that one, a little rude. How are we feeling about the death penalty in 2005, 2006? Very dicey. I mean, we're all from red states, so I don't know exactly how we're feeling.
Well, and in 2006, we were all pretty young. I don't think any of us had really strong opinions about the death penalty.
Yeah, I don't know. In 2005, I'm sure I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds fine. I wasn't aware of the massive problems that we have in our legal system at that point, because
You
I
were
was
worried
like,
about watching Veronica Mars at this point, I feel like. Something like
yeah,
that. Smallville, Supernatural.
it was definitely, I don't even think I had watched Supernatural yet. It was a few
I don't
years
even
away
know if
from
it started at this point.
uh, 2005, I think. Yeah, it's premiering this year. I didn't start watching until like season 2. So no, this was I was very worried about if I was going to be able to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
This makes sense. You
Yeah.
were a WB household. I was UPN.
Mm.
But no, we cut to Margaret in the TARDIS, and she's just like, "How did you get the outside around the inside?" And he's like, I'm not telling you any secrets. I feel like you would use this for evil. That's the energy he's giving off." And she thinks it's technology of the gods, but the doctor's like, "Don't worship me. I'd be a very bad god." And then we cut to Jack installing this confiscated extrapolator into the TARDIS, but like the energy's not compatible, so they'll have to wait overnight for the TARDIS to finish charging. Like it might make it go faster to charge, but not really going to help too much.
I
And
mean, I mean,
I
12 hours is 12 hours. It's
I also don't think at this point I would let Jack like fiddle around with the TARDIS this much.
mhm.
Like we've only been on a little bit of adventure with him, and I'm like, he he proved to have some ill intentions before.
Yeah, that's putting a lot of trust in him pretty early.
Yeah, this is like coming right off the two-parter where we meet him and he just joins the gang.
Right. That's pretty wild.
That is. Rose remarks that they have a prisoner and the police box is an actual police box for once. And Margaret explains that they're not only the police but executioners, to which Mickey says she deserves it, but then she points out that they're also quick to soak their hands in her blood, and she questions how that makes them any better than her. And then she sits down and says, "Who can look her in the eye?" And none of them can maintain eye contact with her. And I love this. Is she wrong?
Yeah. Listen, I know that you all are very boldly being like, no, let's like really think about it. I will jump on this grenade. Yes, yeah,
You're ready
they
to
are
kill
different.
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, like I'm so sorry. There's a difference, like when they're like every time a superhero is like in that moment with like a villain and they're like, if you kill me we're just the same, it's like, I'm so sorry, not to trolley problem this, but killing one person versus killing a person who was like actively attempting, not even, let's not even get into her trying to kill the planet. She adds that we know of, for just her nuclear power plant thing, she killed at least 12 people, at least 12 people that we know of just for the nuclear power plant. I no, I'm sorry. If I am not even killing her, if I delivering her to get to justice delivered by other people, it's not the same thing as killing 12 people with your own fucking hands. I'll say it.
I don't know. We're going to play on the emotions of a traumatized Time Lord who committed a genocide.
Mhm.
So
I'm not saying he's better. I'm saying I would be better than her in this situation. I don't know.
I don't know. I do feel like he is better, though. Even though he committed a genocide, he
Mhm.
stopped a war from killing everyone.
It's real Jamie Lannister, I killed one guy and destroyed my honor permanently, but I also saved everybody that lived in King's Landing from being burnt to death with wildfire energy.
But then, y'all, this is the part that it gets into messy relationship drama. We cut to Mickey and Rose outside the TARDIS discussing their relationship, and he's asking her out for a drink and maybe to spend the night in a hotel, and she agrees to it. And he's like, "You gonna go tell the doctor where you're going or anything?" But Rose is like, "That's not his business." And Rose, girl, this is about to get messy for you. And
Love
inside the
how messy she is.
she's so messy.
She's like, I'm gonna flirt with this new guy, Jack, and then I'm gonna go on a date with the guy who's my boyfriend, but I ghosted him, and flirt with the doctor. Good for her.
Honestly, this is the TLC reality show I want to watch. This is the
Hmm.
like, what is it, sister wives? I
Oh,
need the like brother
Yes.
husbands.
Yeah. Of the
yeah,
TARDIS.
I would love that. Can we sign up for that right now?
We will all be brother husbands. It's fine. We are funny guys at heart.
The first time I watched this, I I mean, I wasn't critically thinking. So of course I was just like, Oh wow, Mickey, he's back and he's really trying something. And then of course, like you do the rewatch and you're like, oh man, Mickey, you
I know, and we're not even to the
freaking
messiest
jerk, man.
part. We're not.
Golly. So I don't know. I guess it's a much lighter question than like the death penalty, definitely. Um,
I feel like we're gonna have way more to say about the relationship drama than the death penalty.
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
But y'all, inside the TARDIS, this is why I would date the Ninth Doctor because he is a lesbian U-hauler at heart. He is watching Mickey and Rose walk away on one of the little console monitors. Jack even tries to sneak up on him and be like, "What you doing here?" And he's like, "Nope," shuts it. And then I love that Margaret, you know what? She is Elle Woodsing through things. She is using it for evil, though. She's interrogating them about butchering her family and how her teleport only carried her away. She had to blindly escape with no coordinates. And Jack and the doctor are just laughing. And you know what? She has a fun idea. She requests a last meal at her favorite restaurant, which just happens to be nearby. And it's like, could you sit with a creature you're about to kill and like, take her to supper? Could you? And the doctor agrees. Jack even offers his bracelets that would electrocute her if she gets more than 10 feet away from him. And you know what? I love that she just shouts, dinner and bondage.
I
I
wrote
don't
that
know.
quote down as well. That is a
I love her.
fantastic quote.
That's
Yes.
a queen.
That is a queen.
Maybe she should get in on this brother husband business. I feel like she might be fun. And then for some reason, Jack stays behind to fix the TARDIS while we cut back and forth between our two dates. But no, for clarity, we will cover one full date, then the other. I cannot do the crosstalk. Get ready because Mickey and Rose are on their date and it's so messy. She's like, "Hey, so how's it been?" And he's like, "I'm dating somebody else." And Rose is jealous. And you know what, Rose? Not into your fat phobia because she's like, she's a bit big, and Mickey's like, she lost weight. I am fist fighting Russell at this point. Buddy, you gotta stop it. You gotta
This
Rose
stop
is
it.
wouldn't
part
say
of this.
that.
This is part of the up and down that I'm talking about. It's like things get like really good and really progressive, and then like, why did she say that?
And then
I
why did
just
he just like, she lost weight? And I'm like, buddy, stop it.
we all know that Rose is a girl's girl, and I just don't think
Mhm.
she'd say that.
She wouldn't. She wouldn't say that.
We've seen her across space and time, literally unionizing everywhere, flirting with every alien
Yes.
creature she comes across. She does not care about that. This is how you know a man wrote this and an evil man at heart, even though he's a gay man. White gay men can be evil, y'all. They can be evil and have no boundaries.
Mhm.
I want to go on record saying anyone can be evil.
I
But
mean, we already know I'm evil, so of course, you're correct. But y'all, don't worry, it gets worse.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Mickey explains that while Rose has been away, and you know what? I'm gonna move on with my life. I'm gonna be free. But also, even though I have a girlfriend, do you want to go to a hotel? We can go find one real quick. And Rose is like, Mickey doesn't even like this girl. And Mickey's like, at least he knows where she is. And he just explodes on Rose that she just left him. She kissed him goodbye and ran off with the doctor and left him like he was nothing, which I do understand. He should be mad about that. But this whole situation and him throwing that in her face after he says he has another girlfriend while asking her to go to a hotel room is a mess. And we're supposed to feel bad that when Rose calls, he'll come a running. He literally says, if you call, I will still be there. And he's like, am I just a standby? And he's like, I'll wait the rest of my life for you. And Rose does apologize, which at this point, I don't think she should. I don't. Everyone's shaking their heads. This is gonna get interesting.
He's
Then
love bombing.
he
Yeah.
is. This is so toxic.
why did he even come? Like, why if he did not want to be a bad man, then why
Exactly,
did he
because
make the decision to come?
guess what? He's like, you can go do this for the rest of your life. I'm not going to ask you to leave the doctor because that's not fair. But I want you to promise me that when you do come back home, you're going to come back to me. That is insane behavior.
Bonkers. Proper bonkers. Like,
Men are not okay.
Also, her mom's right there. She came home for her mom, right? Like, we
No,
all
no, no,
know
no. If
that.
she comes home, she's got to come home for Mickey, not Jackie. Bad bitch Jackie, who we love, we stan.
Insane.
And I love that Rose just does not respond because she hears a rumble in the background and it's not thunder, baby. So, should we go to the other crazy date where it's basically the Silence of the Lambs?
Oh my God, the cinematography in that scene is so good.
It is
Oh, you
so
get.
good.
And can I just like note, like, I miss seeing wrinkles, and I miss like seeing like up close of people's faces, and like, golly, this was like that scene was so well shot. Like just whatever the dialogue was going on, it was just beautiful because of the human face and how like beautiful the human face is, like with wrinkles and with all the facial expressions that are possible. And television is like such a cool form of art because you get to see like such small impressions, like just like a small movement of the eyes, like a small movement of the mouth. To where like we're seeing like this big theater throughout all of the episode, and then you get to see this like very intimate, beautifully done scene. So I just like really want to make sure that if you rewatch this episode, you're looking for the cinematography specifically there, because it's great. And again, I miss people's faces and what people's faces actually look like.
And once again, everyone go to Shannon's website. You might even see my face in some of this stuff because I do pop up in some work time and again. But yes, this is why you're one of my favorite photographers. You took the cutest photo of me.
Well, and it's just like real. I think like there's something really being lost right now about like how people actually look. So, anyway.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we're having those conversations about how we're not seeing those real emotions anymore because of all the like plastic surgery people are getting, which do whatever you want with your own body, obviously. But like we're missing a lot of those emotions on actors' faces that we got back then, and we're nostalgic for it.
Exactly that. Oh, I love this so much. So let's dive into the Silence of the Lambs of it all because this is the scene when I was at Chicago Tardis that Annette Badlin, who plays Margaret Blaine, and Christopher Eccleston, they did a whole panel about because this what they wanted to talk about was this scene being like the highlight. And I do think that this back and forth about morality is really important. It gets to what Merrilee's been saying, being like, no. And I like that the doctor's like on that side of things. So, Margaret, she's going full Hannibal Lecter, getting into the doctor's head, telling him her real name, and like really trying to humanize herself. She's like, oh, look out that window. That's my flat right at the top. And then she slips something into his drink when he's not looking. But the moment he turns around, she swaps them back. And the next part, I love that she's just like getting all flirty and she's like, do you know that the female Slitheen can make this little poison dart? And he just catches it and is like, I knew that. And then she just leans in even closer and you think she's flirting again. And she's like, here's the excess poison from my lungs. And he just sprays her mouth. I love that he is not about her reindeer games. And then this is where it gets a little deep. She explains that the public execution is a slow death, and that's what awaits her should he take her home. And it's like, hey, doctor, you gonna stay and watch? And he wonders what else he could do. And she's like, take me somewhere safe. Take me to this family. We're all over the place. I promise I won't like start up my little games again. But he reminds her that she murdered the real Margaret Blaine. She is walking around in the body of somebody she actually killed, and she's killed other people. And she's like, I'm used to this ordinary life, and just give me a chance to change.
So the line that Doctor Who says, that it was actually very well done, and so I really made sure to write it down. So, during this scene, right after she like begs for mercy, he says, "You're pleading for mercy on a dead woman's lips."
Yeah,
Exactly. This is some
incredible.
beautiful dialogue. It's way
Beautiful.
better than my recap right now.
That
Yeah,
gives me chills, actually.
yeah, and like this is, I don't think this is the world's greatest written episode, but this scene cooks harder than the rest of the episode put together and like doubled. It's so good. And like the whole point of it is she wants not to be turned into soup, which by the way, I know that it must be incredibly painful, but honestly, being turned into soup does sound like pretty fulfilling for me as a person who loves soup.
I do love
So not
soup,
the
so
worst way to go.
exactly.
Yeah. But like it just pleading for like it's so good. It's so good. I could talk about this scene forever. Somebody else should say because I've already said a lot of good
No,
about
it's just the
this.
fact that she's pleading for her life whenever she killed so many people, had excuses made up for all of their deaths. She probably didn't give any of these people a chance to plead for their lives. There was like, and we get into the one person she showed mercy to. And so Margaret's telling him about Kathy Salt today, the reporter we talked about, and how she didn't kill her, even though Kathy threatened to like reveal all these horrible things she's done and like all these things that have slid and like all these murders. And she's like, that's proof that I've changed. And the doctor does believe that she changed that one time, but he doesn't believe it's enough to save just one person on a whim because she happened to be kind. And she calls him out, saying only a killer would know that. And she does clock all the devastation he leaves behind when he's playing God and throws it right back in his face that sometimes they let one go, and she asks to be that one that is let go. She explains how she was forced to become a killer at age 13, and he hears the rumbling outside that Rose heard. So it's cut off. What do you think about the little line that she was forced to become a killer at 13? It's very interesting.
I definitely do think that like how you were raised affects like who you become. I do absolutely think that is a factor. Um, and I don't know if we're waiting till the end to like drop our political beliefs, but like I
Oh,
don't believe
I think
I
that's
don't
just how we go in here. Just go
you
for
know
it.
I don't believe in the death penalty. Like even if like we know that a person is the lowest of the low, even if we know just because I know how flawed our justice system is, and I also know like that everyone isn't put like on an equal ground. And I guess like to me when she's talking about her upbringing, like it could be a lie, absolutely, and like she is a known liar for sure. Um, but it definitely, I guess, for me evoked like feelings of like people's past like affects their choices. And
Mhm.
while like personal choices absolutely matter, um, I do think that there is something to be said about like the circumstances surrounding each individual act.
That is a really interesting point because if that's all she's ever known, do we fault her for that? Like even if she is doing terrible things?
I mean, we do. We can fault her for it. It's just
Yeah.
like, I don't know if she should be put to death for it.
Yeah.
But also, has everybody watched the 13th Doctor's first season, her finale, what she does to somebody there? She doesn't kill him and she stops somebody from killing people. Spoilers for a show that is almost 10 years old at this point, like an episode. She doesn't kill this person who's committed atrocities, but she does basically keep him a prisoner in a stasis chamber for like eternity. What is worse?
I mean, it's really tricky. Anytime you have a conversation about justice, it's always really tricky because at the end of the day, you're juggling the concept of justice in the society versus the concept of like personal accountability and like change and like redemption. And so we live in a really punitive society where at the end of the day the idea of justice ends and begins basically with the idea of like appropriate like wrath. And what is that, where other societies even in our own world, in our own planet, have a completely different, where they weigh like reformation a lot more heavily, like where you look at like Icelandic countries where when someone commits a crime they go to jails that are nicer than like how we treat people here in this country, and like the way that they are allowed to change and reform and have like reformation projects. So it's really hard to find a ground where everything is satisfying, and you have to like look at what justice is in each individual context. I think is the only way you can ever go through. Does that make sense?
Completely.
Oh
And
yeah.
here's the thing, we don't get any answers because they just give us a little earthquake. And this is where we cut back to the teddy baby, Mickey. When Rose runs away, she runs to the danger to see what's happening, probably to see how she can help because that's her life now. And
Mhm.
Mickey is just shouting at her. It's
Mhm.
always the doctor, it's never me. And this is where I'm like, buddy, people are dying.
Yeah,
Probably.
get over yourself. There was just an explosion.
There's an
Like, come on.
explosion. Things are happening. Things are collapsing because we see later in
Guys,
the episode.
in the early 2000s, that's the only way a boyfriend knew how to say he loved her is by yelling. Don't you remember?
He has
No.
such nice guy syndrome, that classic, like, but I'm such a nice guy.
No, he isn't.
But he's not even a nice guy. He just thinks
No,
he is.
he's got a girlfriend, but is
Exactly.
inviting Rose to a hotel.
Yeah.
Ugh. I hate this man sometimes.
Sometimes?
I mean, does he have any good moments?
No,
Not this season.
No.
I want to believe in him. I
We wa-
want to, though.
Shannon, you can fix him.
If anyone can fix him.
Gosh, darn it. I believe in reform, you know? Like we're talking about.
Oh boy. Here's the thing though. We go from like the toxic date, Scooby-Dooing away, like that fight, but right to Margaret and the doctor outside because he's like, you gotta stay close because of the handcuffs. They'll be electrocuted, you know? And she's like, I'm sticking by you because she knows that he's probably the safest person to hang out with. He's gonna figure out what's going on. Here's the thing. I would have loved a good stuck together, handcuffed together trope for an entire episode. I think that would have been hilarious. Bring back sitcom tropes.
Please, that would have been very funny.
Exactly. Like there's a whole Facts of Life episode where two characters are handcuffed together and maybe they should make out.
Maybe the doctor and Margaret Slitheen should have made out.
Maybe they should have. I believe in their chemistry. You know what? You can solve everything with a good makeout. But y'all, Jack back at the Tardis, he did a couple whoopsies. They spot the mess immediately. Turns out the Cardiff, oh my god, why did I do this to my fucking self?
You didn't do it to yourself. The show did it to you. Please place the appropriate blame where it deserves to be put.
Exactly. So, Jack did a whoopsie. Turns out the Cardiff Rift opened, and it looks like a little glowing tornado right on top of the TARDIS, kind of like popping out. It's actually kind of beautiful. I would love that as like some sort of nightlight situation. And whoopsies, it's gonna tear apart space and time because Jack putting the extrapolator surfboard thing Margaret was gonna use to surf back home, it turned out to maybe be sucking some of the energy from the TARDIS. Whoopsies. And turns out this was Margaret's plan all along because she's playing chess. And she pops her little human arm off, grabs Rose by the throat, because they're all back inside the TARDIS at this point. She tells them to give her the powered up extrapolator and explains that she knew somebody with alien technology would want her little surfboard, so she programmed it for Plan B. She knew exactly what she was going to do. And she wanted to lock on to the nearest alien power source to open the rift. And you know what? I support women's wrongs. Occasionally. The doctor isn't scared, though, because the TARDIS console, it pops open. It just like lifts that hood a little bit, and we see the heart of the TARDIS. And he tells her to go look at it, and she's hypnotized by this light. I would be too. It's bright and shiny. I'm like a moth to that flame. And she lets go of Rose and thanks the doctor as they seem to have an understanding. They make a little bit of eye contact there. And her skin suit falls to the ground, and Jack and the doctor power everything down so the universe doesn't explode. And Rose is like, what happened to her? She kind of just like disappeared. And Jack's like, nah, she's dead. It had to have fried her. But the doctor explains that I don't even know what happens when you look into the heart of the TARDIS, the glowy thing. And then he just pulls an egg out of the skin suit. This is so funny. And he's like, let's just drop her off at a home with a different family and let her start again. This is like gonna fix the morality problem. We're not killing her, but she's getting a little reset. She's back as a little seed. The Tardis can do that, apparently. Don't explain the science, it's all magic. And
So thank you so much to Doctor Who for answering the question of would you kill baby Hitler in 2005? The answer is no, you would adopt baby Hitler into a family with morals and ethics.
exactly.
But then he could have gone to art school.
There you go. Hopefully, Hitler and Margaret will be raised properly in this new timeline that we've created. And Merrilee, this answers your question of why was the little surfboard thing on the table? It's because she was playing chess and she knew it needed some alien power to surf her right home or
Yeah, no,
wherever she
like,
wanted to go.
it makes sense after you know the whole episode, but at the beginning, every time I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, why would this be doing that? And it gets me every time, even when I've just watched the episode.
Exactly. And so I love that after all this is done, skin suit, we got the seed, we got to take her back home. Rose is like, oh yeah, Mickey's outside. I'm gonna run back to wherever the hell he was, go look for him. We see like police and ambulances outside because people were obviously impacted by this little earthquake moment. Sorry, Mickey, that she had to go run and save things. And turns out Mickey has left. He just like looks around at the destruction and he walks off into the night. And Rose just goes back to the TARDIS and decides to let him go. As the doctor's monologuing about Margaret's second chance, she's just thinking to herself, yep, Mickey needs a second chance. And the doctor's like, where's he at? And she's like, nah, we're good, we'll go. And he's like, we can wait. And she's like, no. And then next thing we know, TARDIS dematerializes and it's off to the next adventure. And that is our show. Y'all, this is a wild episode. So much happens.
It really is.
It spans like everything on the spectrum of television from Scooby-Doo and poop jokes to like deep thinking.
Mm-hmm. That's why we love this show. Again.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, I feel like you have to like have those layers, or else it wouldn't be entertainment.
I know. It's a great little episode. I like it, even though Mickey is kind of the worst man in this episode. It's awful.
Yeah, no, he terrorizes Rose. But again, that My Dinner at Andre situation between Margaret and the doctor makes it so worth it.
Maybe one of the best scenes of the series. Definitely of the Ninth Doctor's run, I would say. And he has a lot of great stuff. I've not hated a single episode because I can always find something to grasp onto.
Yeah. Even the worst episode with the Ninth Doctor is still a banger. And this is one of his best ones.
It really is.
Anyway.
Do we have any more episodes in this setting? Because that's the other thing that I think was really notable about this episode is like the setting, gorgeous. Oh my gosh, that huge building. I took a note of like what it's called, but also the fountain that it's in front of. Oh my gosh, just what an amazing place to like be at and get to film with.
So they film the show mostly in Cardiff. For the most part, even the sound stages are there because like it was just more affordable at the time. So you're gonna get a lot more of that, especially in the first 4 seasons. And then I'm like trying to think because then they go alien off-world a lot. They don't really go to any actual alien planets in the Ninth Doctor season. The closest you get is like the space like command deck on a spaceship.
Yeah, I feel like you're closer to the end of the Ninth Doctor's reign here, and I don't know that he comes back. But the show does come back to Cardiff. I don't think it's ever going to look like quite like this episode ever again, though.
Yeah. And then let's just get into the horrible behind the scenes thing before we get to the more fun things. So Annette Badland, Margaret Blaine, said in a 2015 panel that this is the episode where John Barrowman exposed himself to the rest of the cast and crew. And this video made the rounds more in 2021 after the allegations against Noel Clarke, who's recently been arrested. for a lot of this poor behavior that dates back to the Doctor Who set. This is what Christopher Eccleston is generally referring to when he talks about producers not taking action to make a safe set, because even Freema Ageman, Martha Jones from series 3 was like, yes, John Barrowman would just walk around with that hanging out as if it was in just normal conversation.
What a wild time.
There's a reason why Eccleston quit the show, asked for producers to be fired, because this was just happening for so long. Literally every man is awful in this
Well,
except for him, it turns out.
Sometimes I get like mad at older women like that are like, you ladies, we had things so
It
much
is a woman
harder.
producer for the show. Just
I know, but then
Yeah.
I hear about stuff like this and I'm like, golly, I have not ever had a man walk around with his just dick out on set, you know?
I will not comment about the horrible things I've experienced on sets.
Well, I mean, I've experienced horrible things, but not
Yes.
that specific one.
I feel like Shannon knows the worst thing that's ever happened to me on a set. You weren't there, but I'll tell everyone else after the show. But yeah, it's awful. And just a reminder, in our show notes, we have a link to Rain's National Sexual Assault Hotline if you or somebody you know needs resources. It's awful. People just behave. It's not hard.
Apparently it is.
Apparently it is. And then Russell T. Davies, we're just going to go into random notes. He stated that the Cardiff Rift closed with the cracks in time when the 11th Doctor rebooted the universe. Spoilers for like 5 years from now, who cares? But later, the Big Finish Torchwood stories contradicted this and saying it never actually closed. And I want to know, what's the truth, Ellen? Because for some reason we have to gas up the Tardis during Russell's era, and then we never really hear about it again. What's real?
As always, canon is wibbly wobbly and timey wimey, so the truth is whatever is most convenient to the plot in this moment.
Yes. And one great thing Mickey does do is he calls Jack Jumpin' Jack Flash, and everyone go check out that great Whoopi Goldberg, Penny Marshall joint. Great little movie, Penny Marshall's debut. Rest in peace, Queen. You made so many amazing movies. I love a good reference. And then we do have a listener question from Novel. Thank you for sending this in. Was the 4-person TARDIS dynamic something you would have wanted more of in this series? So do you think you would have wanted, like, say, another adventure with all 4 of these people, or like those 3 and Jack? Or do you like how it kind of paced itself out with like just the Doctor and Rose, and then eventually they add Jack, and then sometimes they have Mickey?
I wouldn't have wanted like a ton of episodes like that, but I think every once in a while it's really fun to have that, just like, again, Scooby-Doo gang of characters on a zany adventure.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm with you on that page. I like when it just happens occasionally, but not too often. I'm usually more traditional, that I like Doctor Companion and then whoever episodically is the other person, like Gwen and the Unquiet Dead. Or honestly, in this case, I felt like Margaret Blaine was a more important character than Jack, especially, and even Mickey in some parts.
So I'm down with the Scooby-Doo vibe. Love that. However, I did not like the Doctor and the Jack dynamic. I feel like they're too similar in their roles that they play, and it like the Doctor got lost because Jack was like taking over his ish, you
A
know?
little
And so I
bit.
didn't like it.
I do like that once the Doctor regenerates, basically the Doctor just hates Jack from like series 3 on. He's not in series 2. I had to do math in my head. But essentially, after this series, the Doctor just hates Jack. And it's just a long running thing that goes through the 13th Doctor. And I think that's hilarious. It's okay. We all have people we hate, but still have to hang out with.
You know, I, I was all set to be like, I want more episodes with like more like party members, because I like it when there are a bunch of people that get, and you can like break scenes off into like different chunks with different people. But then I thought about it and I was like, actually, would you want more episodes with Mickey? No.
If we're getting very specific, I don't think I would want it with the Ninth Doctor because I love the Nine Rose. Add in a
Mhm.
Gwen dynamic, add in like another character dynamic. I didn't like Adam. I don't think that he worked very well. But whenever you jump to like the 13th Doctor or Amy, Rory, River, and 11, it's like I like those Scooby-Doo adventures more, or just
Mhm.
like Team Tardis with the 13th Doctor. So we're all over the place. And I really loved when it was Dr. Donna and Martha. I loved their dynamic.
Yeah, that was great.
So yes, we love the dynamic, just not here.
Yeah, one episode with these 4 companions, more than enough, frankly.
Meanwhile, my episode with all these companions, Paige, Shannon, Merrilee, aces. Wonderful. Need to do again. Y'all, thank you so much for wandering onto the TARDIS today. Thank you for letting me kidnap you for this wacky adventure. Let's just remind the listeners where they can find you and all your wonderful work. Shannon.
You can find me across all platforms. I'm Shannon K at SHANNONCAY.
And Merrilee, where can people find you and all your wonderful work?
Again, I don't know why you keep saying like you've kidnapped me. I live in the TARDIS now. Thank you so much for updating the snacks by the pool, by the way. They're delightful. Big fan.
I know, I had to waterproof the area. We can't have soggy snacks.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but like it's great. It's perfect. And I'm a huge fan. But you can find me and what I'm working on with Fear Coded. Again, it's Fear Coded Pod at Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Of course. And Shannon, don't worry, I'll put an ensuite in your room with the TARDIS and like a great huge playpen for the little one.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I got you. And Paige, remind the Time Lords where they can find you.
They can find me at Thoughts by Paige on Blue Sky. I am Hey Smithers on Tumblr, Paige Noel Kaiser on Instagram. I am also on the My Stories Are On podcast with Chels, talking mostly about reality TV right now. I also have a Substack that's called Girlhood in Low Resolution, where I talk about growing up as a girl on the internet in the 2000s.
And it's delightful. So, thank you for listening to Across the Hooniverse. We can be found wherever you listen to podcasts. Please make sure to rate and review our show. You can find us on Instagram, Blue Sky, Tumblr. Links are all in the show notes, or you can email us your questions or comments at acrossthehooniversepod@gmail.com. And I'm Chels725 on Blue Sky, Serialized, Letterbox, and Chels Eichels on Instagram. And if you can find my Tumblr, you're stronger than a Slitheen. You can also listen to me on The Q Division, a James Bond movie marathon podcast with our previous companion, Gavin. We love Gavin. And we're both on Glitterjaw with Merrilee. So go find that wherever you listen to podcasts. And of course, My Stories Are On with Paige. And then if you want to hear me and my friend Jen talk about Karen Gillan and the tragically canceled show Selfie, which might need to get Merrilee and Paige on an episode for that, go check out the And a Rewatch feed. It is so much fun. So be sure to join us for our next adventure across space and time as we revisit part 1 of our finale, Bad Wolf. And until next time, we'll see you in the time vortex.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.